Welcome to Nicole's Notes, a study guide for everyday life and beyond. I'm Nicole Zeller. I'm your host, Nicole Zeller. Every episode, we dig into what matters. Every episode, we're going to dig into what matters. Politics, relationships, culture, the absurdities that make being human so damn complicated. No apologies, no simplified answers, just clear thinking about messy things. So let's go. Episode 3, The Psychology of the Follower. Why smart people believe obvious lies. One of the most frustrating things about the false savior phenomenon is this. Smart people fall for it. People with advanced degrees, people who work in technical fields, people who pride themselves on being rational and analytical. They see through the playbook and they follow it anyway. How is that possible? Today we're looking at the psychology of the follower, the emotional and cognitive mechanisms that make even intelligent people vulnerable to false saviors. Spoiler alert, it's not stupidity. It's something much more human than that. The first thing to understand is this. People don't follow false saviors because they're dumb. They follow them because they're desperate. Desperate for a sense of belonging. Desperate to feel like they matter. Desperate to believe that someone is fighting for them. When you're in that state of desperation, your critical thinking shuts down. Not because you're incapable of it, but because the emotional need is so great that you can't afford to see through the lie. Because if the false savior is lying, then you're alone again, you're invisible again, and that's unbearable. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning. When we have a strong emotional investment in a belief, we unconsciously seek out information that confirms it and reject information that contradicts it. A follower of the false savior will see evidence that he's corrupt and think, the system is so rigged that even a corrupt outsider is better than the clean insiders. They'll see evidence that his policies hurt them and think, at least he's fighting the elite, even if I suffer. They'll see evidence that he's a predator and think, all powerful men are predators. At least he's honest about it. At every level, the brain is working to project the belief. Not because the follower is stupid, but because the alternative, admitting you've been fooled, is way too painful. There's also something called the sunk cost fallacy. Once you've invested emotionally in the false savior, once you've told your family and friends that you believe in him, once you've made it part of your identity, it becomes very hard to walk away. Because walking away means admitting to yourself and everyone around you that you were wrong. And that's humiliating. So instead, followers double down. They become more committed. They become more willing to overlook evidence. They become more hostile to people who question their belief. The most dangerous follower isn't one who's stupid. It's the one who's intelligent but desperate. The one who has the capacity to rationalize away any contradiction. Because they can construct sophisticated arguments for why their leader is still good, still fighting for them, still the only option. And intelligence makes those arguments more persuasive to themselves and to others. That's why educated people can be the most dangerous followers, because they can sound intelligent while defending something indefensible. The psychology of the follower explains why the false savior is so hard to defeat. It's not a logic problem. It's an emotional problem, which means the solution isn't to present more facts. It's to address the underlying desperation, to give people a reason to feel seen and valued that doesn't require a tyrant. Next episode, how to break the spell. What actually works in rescuing people from the false savior's grip? I'm your host, Nicole Zeller. Thank you for listening. And remember, stay fierce. The world will adjust.